Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our channel, Automation Rocketship. For today's episode 2, we have a very interesting topic. From the crew, Pradeep Shukla actually went to one of the UiPath events, and he's here to share with us insightful thoughts and his experience. So, welcome back, crew, Andy and Pradeep. Happy to
Hello.
be back on this
Hello,
episode.
everyone.
All right. So Pradeep, why don't you tell us what this UiPath Together event is about?
Yeah, sure. And again, I'm very happy and excited to be back with the crew on this channel, sharing my experience. So this UiPath Together event is for public sector, primarily focused on federal customers, state and local customers, all the government agencies, right, in general. So this event is conducted in Washington D.C. area. It happens every year. Well, the last event was back in 2019, and because of pandemic, there was no more events scheduled. So in a way, public sector agencies got an opportunity to come together at a platform where they can share their experiences, their automation journey with everyone. And it's not just sharing with all the attendees, but also among themselves. And it's also a moment where they can cheer for each other, gives them opportunity to network and meet different other folks who are in the automation phase, learn from them and share their expertise.
That's awesome. So I hope you had fun during that event. So what actually motivated you to go to this event?
Yeah, so it's definitely a fun event. So I primarily work for government customers. Most of my customers are federal or state and local government customers. So that way means I have an affinity towards it, right? I understand some of their challenges. And as a citizen also, right? It's not just about being working in that area, but as a citizen, when you are living and you are using government services, you see day-to-day issues. Like, for example, everyone has gone to a DMV office, right?
Yeah.
And people complain about it all the time. But have we really thought about what is the reason why there is a long queue or it's taking so much time? What can we do to help them? So as a professional, since I work for some of those customers, I know some of those challenges. But at the same time, as a citizen also, I understand that they have a challenge. So definitely there is a root cause for it, and we should look for how to help them. And that's where UiPath solutions have been really instrumental, not just to find out, identify, and help those agencies to find out the issues, right? That different products that we have, like task capture, and that can help them identify the repeatable processes. And in addition to that, with COVID, right, with everything, the digital transformation kind of got really rushed in, and this uh, commercial companies have some automation already in place, but government is definitely was lagging behind in terms of adoption. But with so much change going on, they were kind of pushed into this automation era where they had to find ways to make it work, still be able to serve the customers. And I think UiPath was the right platform for all of them to work with. So that really got me intrigued. I got an opportunity to meet some of my colleagues as well from that area, who live and work there. And also I met a lot of my UiPath teammates who I work with. So the account managers, some account development teams. So and some of the technical people also who I work with in terms of solutioning and all that. So it was a pretty exciting experience seeing them uh, face to face after a long time, right? We have been seeing each other through all the virtual mediums, but meeting in person is definitely a different impact. A lot of people, first time we all like, okay, first time I'm seeing you, so it's really nice to uh, be in person. It was really exciting overall.
That's really amazing. Yeah, one day I wish to meet you both as well. So
So,
that's
so it's
Yeah,
ironic, right? Any government agency,
yeah.
any legislative agency that has the highest number of customers to serve. I mean, practically, if you look, any government agency in the world has the largest customer base. Do you agree? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
and it's so ironic that they are the least modernized,
Hmm.
right?
right,
I mean, it's
Yeah.
amazing how much more work there is left in that sector to be
right.
improved upon. But yeah, I get what you're I
Like
get
as the
the
agency, as the departments grow, right, with the rate of change for adoption of a new technology goes down because people are always afraid of things breaking down, not working up to the expectation. And for government, I mean, no one wants to be on the first page of the newspaper next morning, right? So they always approach any solution, barring automation, right? Even a modernization solution itself, they always approach with a lot of caution. They try to make go with the partner that they really trust, and all those things play a very crucial role in terms of what solution they adopt.
Yeah, I'm really glad to hear that. Like, there are so many sectors, like government agencies,
Yeah,
like you mentioned, coming forward to say, like, okay, let's move forward with the transformation. Because I mean, like you mentioned, the DMV is like one of the best places where you can easily spend like 3 to 4 hours just to like have your driving license, expired. Like, you just need to apply for it again, and that takes away half of your day. So I can see, like, because I've seen a lot of people working in that industry, like where they complain the system is like loading. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
for them that's like a very common phrase. But you, as an IT professional, you can say, like, how can I help? Like, what is
Yeah.
it that we could do?
Frankly speaking, it's so funny we're talking about DMA because last week I just filled up my application to renew my license after my 10 years, and I was
yeah,
surprised. I was surprised that the whole process was completed online without a glitch, and they said your license is going to be
right,
at your doorstep in 7 to 10 days. But despite that, like you said, Pradeep, Priya, the amount of work at the counter there still doesn't seem to cease. You know what I'm saying?
right,
I don't know about how in your states, but in our state, they minimized the RMVs and they moved their centers and they made them smaller. But now it's led to a different problem because now they are getting overloaded because they consolidated centers. So
right,
there's a
right.
lot of work to be done, I think.
Exactly, exactly. No,
So
that
it's
that that
really
is
good.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good, like, sector for us, like, because like within UiPath, like we all have like built automations and like work with different like commercial customers. And mostly, like, most of the people that I talk to, or even like with the sales team or the marketing team, they always mention like a financial industry or an insurance or healthcare. But like having government sectors, that's really, like, like, it's surprising, and at the same time it feels like amazing, because like it feels like it's moving forward. So which is great, because they have a lot of processes, like you both mentioned, right? So
Yeah.
Pradeep, tell us a little bit more, like, like, we as MVPs, were you able to meet with like other MVPs at the event?
Yeah, so that was interesting. So the event was on June 14th, and interestingly, there are two MVPs in my company from my company. So the other person was traveling from other, and I haven't met him actually 2 3 years. So that person was definitely there. We met. It was really fun meeting after such a long time. We had few more colleagues joining in. They were from federal sector, and I met Brian Center, and that was very interesting. I'll tell you just a quick story. So he was representing his company, and he had a small booth, and I was just going through the lobby and looking at different companies, what services they offer in terms of UiPath integration and all. Alteryx and some other companies were all there. So I saw a laptop with an MVP logo, just like these stickers that we got, right, with MVP packet. And I was like, there was a bell. Okay, where there is someone here that I should know. but who is that person? Because I didn't see anyone who I recognized. So there was another gentleman on that booth. So I asked him, who this like whose laptop is this, right? And then so I want to meet him. And then he pointed me out like, okay, Brian is here, Brian Center. So we met. That was our first meeting for first time face to face. So it was really great to see him in person. He was really engaged with his booth, helping other uh, folks learn about what services they offer from their company. So yeah, we met for later on. We met for lunch, and then afterwards for a few minutes. It was really great meeting him, and we talked about a few other use cases that we are collaborating for some of the schools, how we want to promote and all that. So it's a really great meeting him, and I believe he's coming for the MVP summit also. So we'll have another opportunity to meet.
Uh,
Amazing.
Pradeep, did you see anything that stands out in terms of the technologies areas of RPA that the overall your conference or your event sort of expressed interest? Or did you have a takeaway saying, "Hey, I see a lot of people showing interest in this feature as opposed to this feature"? Did you feel anything like that? Did you come to some
Right.
conclusion?
So there are a lot of federal customers were there and state level customers were there. They were sharing different use cases that were really relevant to them. Is one of the key take. I think there were two takeaways specifically again from the government sector wise, right? Is one of the things that everyone talked about that once automation is is able to show what it can do, the employees were much eager to adopt, right? Because we always have this fear that once automation is in place, the jobs will go away, and that's much more prominent in government sector, right? So so that was one of the core things. Means all these agencies, where there were U.S. Air Force, Federal Reserve Bank, CBP, U.S. Army, or even for state agencies, right? They all emphasized on that because that was the key for success in terms of adoption of RPA in their agencies. Because once they were able to show and show to their employees that how it can really be a value add to their work, then those employees themselves became a champion for the RPA, for the automation in general. They themselves were able to identify and point that this could be a process that we can automate. So that's a really great initiative in terms of and change of mind, right? That's the most important thing, right? That automation becoming an enabler for and working as a change agent within an organization. That's a big thing. In terms of technology, what Andy you asked for, there were a lot of talks in terms of automation, in terms of AI, machine learning features. Is one of the things that came up is that we need to when we bringing on the automation or AI ML in general, not just automation part of it, but when we are talking about AI ML part of it, we we really need to bring it as an augmented ML or augmented artificial intelligence, because we cannot roll out 100% automation, 100% AI, or
Yeah.
we cannot leave the complete process on a machine learning model. So it has to be always paired with a human in a loop uh, a concept, right? That should always be in place because that is how slowly things will mature, right? And people involved in the process will also start slowly building that confidence. And like one of the cases that I worked on, right? So I always say, uh, if if there is a process happens, right, and let's say it's going to let's say refund process is there, right? So you don't start giving your bot refunding hundreds of dollars, right? You start with like, okay, give the bot authority to refund up to $5. If there is a process, don't come to me, right? I don't need to verify it. You find that gap, refund it. But if something goes beyond that or whatever threshold may be, right? So slowly that's how you build your confidence. And once you see the process is matured, the bot is matured, you can slowly let go and let it become autonomous completely on its own. So those are the two things that I see, and a lot of agencies resonated the same, that once their employees were on board and they had more confidence in it, it was really quick in terms of adoption. And US Air Force shared that they were able to save $20 million, reducing their manual work by 75% in last 2-3 years. Um, Similarly, I think from state agency side, state of New York were able to save $1.2 million because they were able to process unemployment claims very quickly during this whole COVID time frame. And not just that, they were also able to reduce the fraudulent claims, and that actually amounts to much more than what actually they pay. So with automations, primarily UiPath, what they employed in their specific agencies, that was really great.
I think you
And
have a point there, right? Because with all this scams and grifting that happened because of the PPP,
right,
paycheck program and all the kind of unemployment programs that were out during COVID, I think some of these processes will definitely help in alleviate some of those fraudulent activities and money going to the wrong hands,
right,
right?
right. No, absolutely. And I think one of the highlights of the events was the afternoon chat with former Governor Christie and Daniel Dines, the CEO of UiPath. So that was very interesting conversation where they shared some lighter moments, but at the same time they shared what, as a governor or as a head of a state, right? What do you look for when you are adopting an automation technology?
Right.
You really don't. You're not really interested in the technology as such, but you really are looking at the impact of it,
Impact.
right?
Yeah.
So that becomes a key point, uh, how to make government agencies adopt an automation platform and how to go about it, right? And
Yeah.
definitely they shared about different use cases
Right.
that can be the primary target, or that can be the low hanging fruit, right? To first resolve them, to help the customers and help the citizens, like all
Right.
of us, right?
That's really wonderful, Pradeep. I mean, like you were able to like virtually take us around that whole UiPath Together event. So like probably in the coming years, like maybe like we will also like try to go there.
Sure. And we are not missing out if anyone is still interested to join. So what UiPath had done, they have put up the whole session, all the sessions. The recorded sessions are available online. So we'll put the link below. Anyone wants to register, they can register, and they can watch the conversation. So the first half of the session was primarily more business oriented, where they talked about different use cases. The second half of the session was hands-on. There were a couple of breakout rooms where we actually get to look at some of the use cases. There were UiPath technical folks were there, so they were presenting some use cases, and you can ask those questions, any questions that you may have. So that it's kind of a mix of both technical and business function. But I think the primary goal of the event was to bring together all the participants from the public sector, from the government sector, to come together and not stay isolated and doing their own innovation in their own
Silos. Yeah.
in their own silos, right? So that I think that's the objective I try to achieve, and I believe firmly that we were able to achieve that. I had very good conversation over lunch, and or even someone gentleman who was sitting next to me talking about what they are doing in their organization and how they are approaching automation aspects. So it was really a good event, meeting MVPs, meeting some of my past colleagues and UiPath team members. I really had fun.
That's awesome, Pradeep. Thank you again. Like thanks, Andy. Thanks,
Well,
Pradeep,
thanks.
like for
I would say
sharing all
thanks.
of this.
Well, I would say thanks to this platform, right? That I get to share this information once again. And yeah, and I'll share the link. Feel free to join in, register for that, and attend those sessions if you would like to. It's always good to hear, and those sessions are very small, like 10 to 15 minutes in bits. In the videos are split in that, So that way you can look at and learn to understand a specific agency, how they are solving their challenges.
Yeah, it's nice how you've gone to you are a person in another part of this country, gone to an event in yet another part of the country, and then people elsewhere get to know all of that and what you have taken away from that. But I also get the fact that why Daniel Dinas would want to have a conversation with Christie, because if you get to have a person of his stature to understand the impact of automation, then everything will then spread downwards. And implementers such as us, such as you, Pradeep, who's active in in the most of the time in the government sector, can definitely, as an MVP, also facilitate how they build their solutions. That's what I understand from this whole conversation.
No, thanks. I think it was good, and I definitely I'm looking forward to for next year's event. Maybe you guys can join in too, and we'll have a lot more fun.
Hopefully next year things are going to fall in place for me too, and we can make it. Yeah.
Sure.
Awesome. So viewers, if you're still listening, please go ahead and check out the link below. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and subscribe and show some support. And in the comment section, do let us know what kind of episodes you would love to see. And always reach out to us on LinkedIn. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye now.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Bye now.